And what would you say is the main goal with tonight's protest?
I think the goal is just showing our support for Palestine and demanding that NYU stops. I honestly don't know all of what NYU's doing.
Is there something that NYU's doing?
I really don't know. I'm pretty sure they're... Do you know what NYU's doing? About what? About Israel. Why are we protesting here?
Palestine will be free!
I wish I was more educated. I'm not either.
Oh.
I came from Colombia.
Establishment Democrats, and yes, that means Joe Biden, may be in big trouble because their own people have turned against them in a way that is now a runaway train. As I'm sure you saw on TV today, Palestine protests on college campuses across the nation got completely out of hand on Wednesday. And frankly, I can't feel bad for the university administration, for Biden, for any of these people, because they brought this mess upon themselves, and we'll talk about that today. Now, these protests have been happening for a while. We have on this channel covered repeated instances where Biden or other Democrats have been heckled by Free Palestine people on their own side.
The dictator do genocide, Joe! Tens of thousands of Palestinians!
As you may remember, a huge mob of them in DC actually tried to block the road to the State of the Union so that Joe Biden's presidential motorcade could not make it to the Capitol. So the point is that this is nothing new, but what you are seeing on campuses right now, on campuses today, actually all started at Columbia University last week when these students, Ilhan Omar's daughter, funny enough, was actually a part of it, started this sit-in protest where they basically set up tents, they tried to stay overnight, and they refused to leave unless the university administration would boycott Israel or something, because, you know, that'll make the biggest difference ever. Hey, Israel's doing this, but Columbia says don't do it. I don't know, whatever. I mean, my conclusion, to tell you the truth, is that they simply enjoy being homeless. It's just an odd thing that seems to be recurring on the left, right? So eventually, I guess the controversy begins when police say that this is not a lawful assembly. You can't just be homeless for Palestine, and they started arresting people. And I guess it just started some type of nationwide movement where kids are across the country occupying campuses for Palestine or something. They even did it at my school. There's a picture, I go to the University of Florida, of them, I guess, protesting. I mean, I'm told by sources that they were out there for a bit. They basically got sleepy and started taking a nap. So that's kind of funny. My roommate actually walked past them and said that they did not smell very good, which is, of course, not surprising. But at some of the other schools across America, things are actually getting kind of crazy. Here's a video of them storming into the courtyard at Harvard. Here's some videos of them getting completely out of hand at USC and the University of Texas, where quite a few arrests were made. Yeah, it's completely wild. And perhaps craziest of all is that at Columbia University, where this entire thing started, they actually canceled classes over these protests, which is totally hilarious. I mean, what a complete freak show on all sides of this, right? I mean, on one hand, you have the kids who are being homeless for Palestine, and that's a freak show in itself. But then on the other side, you have a university administration who just says, okay, you guys want to be homeless for Palestine? Well, I guess we can't get you to stop protesting, so we're done. No more classes. I mean, honestly, if I went to Columbia, I would be kind of happy about that, right? Actually, I'd be very happy. I'd say, hey, no finals, no classes, free vacation for Palestine. Let's go, right? So, but with all of that said, amongst Summer of Love 2.0 or 3.0 or whatever 0.0 we are at now, I gotta be honest, guys. I'm gonna be totally honest, hot take maybe, but I'm actually kind of rooting for these kids, especially the ones at the Ivy Leagues. And of course, you're saying to yourself, how could you say that? No, Vince, you're a conservative. You want law and order. Shouldn't you want to see all these kids arrested? Well, here's my question to people is, what are they protesting against? Yeah, newsflash, they are not undermining Donald Trump. They are not really at war currently with the Republican Party. They're undermining Biden, the Democrats, and the administrations of these liberal universities, okay? These are essentially woke, progressive, socialist, communists, or whatever, young, far leftists who are protesting against establishment leftist institutions, right? So with that in mind, why exactly would we want to get in the way of that? I mean, what exactly are we as conservatives supposed to do? Are we supposed to, I don't know, care? I'm supposed to care? I'm supposed to feel bad for these university administrations and the Democratic Party who frankly created this situation to begin with. Oh no, you poor university administrations at Ivy Leagues who accepted these kids, you encouraged them to be crazy, hippie leftists. In fact, you hired professors who would very much encourage them to do that. And it was great when it helped you. It helped your political party. It helped your cause. But suddenly, now that the chickens have come home to roost, now that the hellspawn you have created is turning against you too, oh, us conservatives are supposed to feel bad? We're supposed to be the ones who bail you out, call the police, call the National Guard? No, it's not going to happen. I say bye-bye, enjoy those people. Those are your children, right? By the way, this is a much bigger problem than the universities themselves. Biden has a huge electoral problem on his hands, and you have seen the results of that in Michigan, in Minnesota, in Wisconsin, in the boycott protest votes in those primaries, right? And why is that? It's because for years, Democrats, the establishment left, whatever you want to call it, they have enabled these woke revolutionaries. And by the way, they've also enabled and encouraged a lot of mass immigration from the Islamic world. And newsflash, how do most of those people feel about Israel? Yeah, so there's that element to that too. But in, regards to these protests, when it was BLM, when it was anti-Trump, when it was Antifa, the Democrats said, yeah, we love you guys. Go wild, go crazy, be communists, etc. Remember this, guys?
Already, you have members of your cabinet that have been booed out of restaurants, who have protesters taking up at their house, who's saying no peace, no sleep. No peace, no sleep. And if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere.
Oh, but now they have an issue, don't they, right? Because they created a lot of crazy people who they are now realizing they cannot really control. They have a problem because the establishment Democrats and frankly, the establishment in both parties are very pro-Israel, but the woke left is not so pro-Israel, are they, right? We have a problem because a lot of the donors to these universities, politically incorrect, but it's true, are primarily what? Older, more liberal-leaning Jews. And then you say, wait a minute, what's happening on these campuses? Huge protests against Israel, some alleged cases where Jewish students are being harassed by the Palestine mob? That's a little bit of a conflict of interest, is it not? It is. Here's what I say. I say, you all deserve each other. I mean, I don't care. Why the heck exactly should I care? That is my freaking conclusion. My conclusion is let the left tear itself apart. So I say personally, as Vince Dow, I don't speak for Trump. I don't speak for any other conservative, but I do say personally to these Palestine kids, look, don't get in our way, okay? Don't go block our road or, try to give us problems. But with that said, okay, so long as you are protesting against Democrat institutions, you have my full endorsement to do so. Yeah, down with Biden. I say that too, okay? He is Genocide Joe. I would 100% agree. How could you be for Genocide Joe Biden? I'm certainly not, right? So that's what the deal is. These people, whether they realize it or not, and whether my right-wing audience also realizes it, these people are indeed useful idiots for us. They are useful idiots for Trump and the conservative side, okay? And that's what I want some conservatives to realize as well, because I see a lot of us saying on the internet that this entire situation is some type of op, it's some type of psyop or staged, or it's an act or something. And you'll see people saying that, hey, this is just like 2020. The establishment is astroturfing civil unrest to get Joe Biden elected again, to which I say to you guys, look, I understand the idea that you're getting at. I understand the thought process there, and that was certainly true in 2020. But this time around, let's be clear that the establishment does not like this. This is not some type of op that the people re-electing Joe Biden have intentionally created, okay? It's actually the opposite. This is a situation where they screwed up, right? They created these people, and conveniently, right before the election, the hellspawn they created is turning their knives on their own masters.
There was an insurrection.
Shame on you, Joe Biden! Shame on you! Shame on you! You are funding genocide in Palestine!
Yeah, let's be clear about that. That is not good news for Joe Biden, guys, okay? They did not want this to happen. This was, in my opinion, completely spontaneous. This was not planned. And that's why, again, to the kids protesting at the Ivy Leagues, at the liberal universities, I say go. Rock on, you useful idiots, which is ironic because useful idiot is a term that was actually coined by Vladimir Lenin, but it's very true here, right? I say go you, rock on, you lovely, useful idiots. And just remember, okay, as you protest through all of summer, please do, in all of fall, up until November 2024, please just remember when you do protest, kids, that this is indeed Joe Biden's fault, and that's why you also should not vote for him in the election. It would not be the truly humanitarian or progressive or socialist thing to do now, would it? Would it? Okay, with that said, folks, there is the current situation going on right now at universities across our country. If you go to school, if you've seen them, if you witnessed them, what's the deal there? Okay, be sure to let me know. And again, I will just reiterate, let the left tear itself apart, guys, okay? We don't need to encourage National Guard or Law and Order or whatever. No. Just let it happen. Let it happen. It's good. It's good for us. I'm laughing at it. Personally, I think it's freaking hilarious. So with that said, be sure to leave a like on this video. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Alpha moves only. God bless and peace.